It's election time! The Ontario Provincial election is going to take place on June the 2nd of this year, and a lot of people are already voting. I myself haven't, but I will. I'm going to be honest and say that I don't know a whole lot about the standing of Ontario politics. But I watched one debate and have a brain, so I should be okay. Like most elections, there are many parties running, but not all of them matter. Most of these parties are fringe, which means they are small, which means they don't get a lot of votes. Not to discredit the fringe parties, but there are 6 parties that have a reasonable chance of winning. First is the Progressive Conservatives, run by Doug. He's the big man running the province right now, and he probably wants to win because, I don't want to lose the job. Doug is reasonably popular from what I've seen, but I can also see him being a bit of a mixed bag, depending on where you stand. Or where you're from. Last election saw him win by a pretty big amount, though that could have been circumstantial. I wasn't smart enough then, so how could I know? Next is Andrea Horath of the NDP. She has been running since 2009, though it's very clear that from last election, 2018, she seems to have a bit of a following, so let's not write it off yet. I don't know much about the New Democratic Party, or NDP, but in theory it is supposed to be the more left-leaning of the two big parties. Like, that's the idea. Hope for the best. Whatever, you just gotta get through this. We don't have a lot of time left. It's the 27th. Next is the Liberals. This election sees Stephen Del Duca taking the ship in what some would call a pretty prime time to be running. Last election in 2018 saw a bit of a controversy with the former Liberal leader Kathleen Wynne. What this was, I don't know, but if I decide to learn more about it, I'll maybe make a video on it. Del Duca is essentially trying to take the party out of the past and put it into the future. That's his goal. He seems nice, and I hope he gets some votes. Next is the Greenie Weenies, or Green Party of Ontario for short. That's what it's called. No, I don't mean any disrespect to the Greens. Though their leader, Mike Schreiner, has also been running since 2009, and has kind of showed up for pretty much everything, he doesn't really have a whole lot to show. Not really much has happened. The party currently has 1 seat, so we'll have to see what they can get this time around. Now those 4 I mentioned are the parties most promised to win. Maybe 3 if you think the Greens are a little niche. But 2 other parties have arisen recently, and are attempting to take some extra space, if you will. My voice cracks. These are the New Blue and the Ontario Party. Let's start with the Ontario Party. I'm talking like I know what I mean. I'm talking as if I actually know what I'm talking about. The OP, as I've just called it now, is a political party created in May 2018 that made a real splash in the last election. To be fair, they only had a little bit of time to actually get a following going, but being beaten by the Northern Ontario Party is definitely something to chuckle at. The party has been run by Derek Sloan since 2021, and since the election before seems to have built up some steam. They are pretty much solely identified as a right-wing party and seem to be taking the place of the Progressive Conservatives, maybe where they stood a while before. But don't take what I say too seriously, as again, I've only seen one debate, and most of the time I look like this. And the final party we will talk about is the New Blue. New Blue. Jeez, fucking hell. So much cringe, honestly, how I'm doing this, but hey, sometimes you gotta experiment. You might get something good. The New Blue Party of Ontario. I can't remember anything. The New Blue Party of Ontario is one of the newest parties in Ontario, and probably Canada, honestly. It was founded near the end of 2020. 2020. What the hecky? It was founded near the end of 2020 and was registered on January 7th, 2021. Headed by Jim Karahalios, it could be fair to say that they are also right-wing, though I could be very wrong. I could have no idea what I'm speaking about and talking about. Again, I watched one debate. They're a bit of a blank slate, as this is their first election, so not much else can be said other than good luck. All the parties have slogans, and most are fine. Doug Ford's is fine. The Libertarian Party's is fine. Not a fan of the Ontario Party's slogan, though. Freedom.
Family.
Faith. It's like they looked at the New Blue slogan and went, oh, well, let me see if I can find some words that are similar. They're not good, but they're passable. The big four leaders have had 3 debates so far. I think. There was another one. And maybe they didn't even participate in the third one. One on May 10th, one on May 16th, and one on May 17th. I myself watched the May 10th one on the 11th, and I didn't actually know it was about Northern Ontario until they kept saying.
Ew, it's issues. This is so dumb.
There's a bunch of issues being brought up about healthcare and taxes and the oh-so-funny Highway 69. But nobody like me really cares about that stuff. Regardless, as for who's going to win, maybe Ford? I mean, who knows for sure? He's only served 1 term so far, so... Like, it's only been 1 term, so it's in his favor, I believe. Again, I know nothing, but on June 2nd, I'll know who won. No ifs, ands, or how abouts.
Yeah, I'll probably be wrong.